Good morning. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Joshua. I'm going to be your presenter today. Welcome to today's event. We're here to talk about backing up your church Windows data. Really important topic today. Backing up your data is one of the most important things that you need to do or to ensure that is being done with church Windows in both right now in church Windows, and payroll, which is a separate program for the time being, coming into church Windows here at some point soon, we hope. But you need to make sure that your data is being backed up. Church Windows does not back up the data for you. Okay, there is not. We do have a command line backup utility inside the CW folder that your technician or your administrator, computer administrator certainly can set up. We're not going to go through that today, but there is a command line backup utility that can be set up so Windows is backing it up as part of a Windows command to back that up, but again, it still requires to be set up. So the first thing on the page there talks about back up your data. How often should you back up your data? Folks, that's entirely up to you, but we recommend typically nothing less than weekly, or probably the more accurate way to look at that is, or answer that question is, as often as you want to not have to re-enter data should you have to restore a backup. So if you're going in and entering church Windows, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you may choose to back up the data at the end of the workday right before you leave the office for the day, okay? The software doesn't care how often you back up the data, okay? The worst part about it is not backing up the data at all. We still talk to a handful of folks every month who call us saying, oh, my computer crashed, I need to reinstall church Windows, and where's my backup? Okay, that's the question they ask us, and our simple answer is, if you've not been backing it up yourself, you're going to have to re-enter and rekey in your data. Even if you do use a third-party backup utility like Carbonite, or even the command line backup utility that church Windows has, that you can have your tech set up for you, someone should be checking to ensure that those backups are being made periodically. Whether it's once a week or once a month, somebody should check it. Again, we still talk to folks who go, well, we had Carbonite backing it up, but nobody was checking it, and then all of a sudden Carbonite wasn't backing it up, and then they're having to restore a backup that was months or even years old, and then all of that data has to be re-entered and rekeyed in, okay? You can back up to any form of removable format you wish, a flash drive, an external hard drive, a cloud application if you have one. You can literally back up the data anywhere you want, okay? Any format. But you also want to make sure that you're backing it up to a form of media at some point that you could potentially or need or want to take off the church premises, just in case of something truly dire or tragic at the church itself, like the building burning down or what have you. We don't like to talk like that, but we have, as the software developer, have heard cases where that's occurred, okay? So somebody should be, and rotate out your media, rotate out 2 or 3 flash drives. Okay, don't rely on just one. They're really reliable, but they fail as well. Okay, so make sure to back up your data to 2 or 3 different flash drives. And as it points out there in the topic there in the middle of that first paragraph, we cannot guarantee third-party backup utilities will get all the files needed to restore church Windows data. If data is lost, you do not have a recent backup, we cannot retrieve the data for you. Okay, it's that simple. You'll need to re-enter all lost data. That might include multiple years. It only takes a few seconds to back up your data. Okay, and we're going to see how that occurs here really quickly right now. So it talks about to back up version 20 and later, and backing up version 19 and prior. It's really just because the file name was different in version 19. It gave you a little bit of different options for what to back up, but we're going to be showing you how to do it in version 23, the latest version. So right here, we've got administration, and we're going to go to backup, the little gift icon right there, present icon, and it opens up our backup data window. And we notice here in the upper left, there's 2 check boxes, all data, membership, scheduler, donations, and accounting, and that will include payroll when the payroll is rolled into the home screen for church Windows here in version 24. I think that's still the plan. If you have pictures entered for your, say, directories and families and individuals in membership, you have to check the pictures box, okay? Once I think we've checked this, it will remember that, okay? Then we really want to pay attention to where the backup to path is. Definitely don't want C users, Rachel desktop, Vanco data, so I'm going to click browse. It opens up every available location on your computer, and I've got a flash drive here, so I'm going to call it PK back, label drive letter F. We're going to choose F, and it opens that up, and we're going to simply click OK and begin backup. Okay, won't take too terribly long. Okay, you're going to see this here in just a second where this is what this is going to look like. So it does its kind of gyrations here to do the backup, but it should just take a couple seconds here and should say pop up and say your data backup completed successfully. Okay, now I don't want to assume that that backup is there. Okay, so I'm going to double check that. So we're done in our backup data routine here, so we're going to close that. Now we're going to go down to our search down here, and we're going to find this PC. We're going to open up my flash drive, and right here, if I click on date modified, we see the file right at the very top here called cdata pick back up 8/11/2022 at 11:39 p.m., almost 11:40. If I were to go in and create a new backup now, it would create a new file with a different name because the time is different. It would leave the same name, same date, but it would put a different timestamp on it. Okay, so the software no longer overwrites the previous backup. Okay, so you can go in and create backups and put them onto your media pretty much in perpetuity, and which also means then periodically you do have to go in and you have to purge out those backups, however often you choose to do that, whether it's, leaving 3 months most of most recent data on there, or a month, or what have you, but you've got to go in there. I mean, like my flash drive is 2 gigabytes. Honestly, this flash drive would hold hundreds of Church Windows backups, okay? The compressed zip files are not that large, albeit I've seen databases for churches be, 100 plus megabytes. So, that even then it would still hold 20 backups or more on a 20 gig flash drive. 200, excuse me. So it would still hold a fair amount of them, even if I did have 100 meg backup file, or a backup file size. Okay, so it's still, this media would hold that. And again, rotate them out, folks. Okay, so that I've verified now that that backup is actually put onto my flash drive by verifying the date and the timestamp on that and the file name. Okay, don't assume, check it. It's worth the extra few seconds and the peace of mind to ensure that you're, that you've got the data's there. Okay, don't assume. When we assume that, then that's really when you get into trouble, especially when you need that backup. Okay, so another thing here about this, and this is there, is while some of you may be Church Windows web users, maybe some of you aren't, but we also want to specify that while, your Cloud9 or Summit hosting backs up your data, they only keep your data for, I think, 2 weeks. I think it is. It's still not forever. Okay, so they still purge out your backups if it's 2 weeks old or more. Okay, but it's important to understand that even our cloud or cloud-hosted Church Windows users can still back up their data and should. Okay, and here's the story that I use on my support calls with folks who are on the cloud to do that. First of all, it's your data. Okay, I get it. The cloud hosting company does a really good job. They do a really good job of making sure that your data is backed up, but it's your data. I have never once said to a single customer in my 20 years of doing this for Computer Helper, for Church Windows, stop your backing up your data too much. There is no such thing as too many data backups, okay? It's just another layer of protection, okay? So the thing about the cloud, and this is the story that I say, you've gone in, you've done 6 hours worth of work from 9 a.m. in the morning till 3 p.m. in the afternoon. You're making a large change to your database and you're unsure about whether you're going to like that change or not, okay? You can go into Church Windows even in the cloud and back it up to, a folder on your cloud desktop, on Summit's desktop or Cloud9 desktop, because if you don't like the work you've done, do you really want to have to go back and re-enter the 6 hours worth of work you've done in the morning, throughout the day by relying on the backup that the cloud hosting company did. When you can simply go in the cloud, go to administration, backup data, put it on the cloud desktop, create the backup. And if you don't like the work, you can restore the work, for the backup you made just a few minutes ago or half an hour ago, rather than going back to the previous night from the cloud hosting company. Okay, so it's really important. Every user that gets into Church Windows can back up their data. Okay, everybody needs to know that. Church Windows can be backed up by anyone. There is no security function that denies users from backing up their data. There is a security function that prevents users from restoring it. Okay, so if in doubt and you need help or have questions about it, please call myself, any one of my technicians. Ask us for assistance on how to coach your users on how to back up their data. Okay, data backups are peace of mind. Okay, that they're what give you the confidence to proceed forward, making a broad change to your database, knowing that you could get back to a restore point and get back to where you started if you don't like the work you've done. Okay, so really, please, 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 folks, I can't say this enough. Make sure that your administrator is checking it if you're sure about it, or your network administrator or tech, or ask who at the church is backing up the data. If not, anyone can begin that process. It could be, again, flash drive, external hard drive, you name it, you can put it anywhere.